Okay, so aloha and welcome to all of those of you that are watching our webinar today. We're grateful for Joanne, Ormond, and Espi or De La Cruz, right?
Yep.
From EZY Service Center and also Alliance Service Center in the Philippines. We'll talk about EZY services today mostly. We're grateful for their time. For those of you that aren't familiar or know about the conference, the Asia Pacific Career Conference will be starting next month, March 6th through the 9th. And we're trying to get 100 employers here this year. Last year we had 50. This year we're trying to expand a little bit and get some more employers out here to introduce themselves to the students. And we're grateful to have these two join us today. Kay is an alum of BYU-Hawaii, so I'll turn the time over to her and let her explain a little bit more about what she does at their organization. Thank you, Kay.
Aloha, everybody. My name is Kay, or a lot of Filipinos would know me as Espi. I have been a graduate of BYU since 2011, 2012, and I've been in the Philippines for about 8 years now. I've enjoyed my experience working for an accounting firm and an IT firm, but I think I've found my home with EZY Service Center, where I work with Joanne and Patrick. Both are alumni of BYU-Hawaii. So what do? I was hired to be an HR manager for EZY Service Center. I handle recruitment, talent management, labor relations, employee engagement, and I also oversee compensation benefits. And EZY Service Center is an outsourcing company, but we do not limit our scope with only taking in calls, which a lot of Filipinos might think we're just taking in calls because we are a BPO center. We do a range of services here in our office, from marketing to sales to collections to financial industries. We do cater them all, from China, Vietnam, New Zealand, Australia, all of it, we cover it. And I'd like to introduce my boss, Ms. Joanne Ormond, to share more of the company.
As I say, it's we were there last year. We really enjoyed our time there. We have been now actively doing internships. I believe we currently have two that will be joining us this year.
Yes.
And so we're really hopeful on our trip over there that we'll be able to maybe encourage some other people if they're interested in coming and do more internships with us.
Yeah.
So
love it.
So questions.
Any questions? Oh, I have a question. So sorry, I forgot to mention also that Joanne and Patrick are both alum of BYU-Hawaii. Actually, we're related, which is awesome for me to have them come. And it's really good to just show what you can do with your degree from BYU-Hawaii. A lot of times I hear it's hard to do this and it's hard to do that. But I think with a lot of hard work and determination to do what you really want to, what you have passion for, it's amazing to see. And these two are definitely a result of hard work and represent that from the school very well. I did have a question. So when I was there last, we did talk about a little bit about internships. What are some of the internships that you've had students do, and what do you have currently that are available?
Okay, I'll turn that over to Kate.
Yeah, with our internships, we match them with the degrees that you're currently studying. So if you are in IT, like Saraya and Jonas are, they will be placed with our IT departments. What's unique about our program is that you do not only work with mid-level management, but this too will directly report to our IT manager, giving them the exposure and the experience that they need. They will be working from setting up computers to programming things. So it's a wide variety of exposures that they're gonna get. Plus, you get to have one big project before your internship ends, which caps off all the credits that you're gonna get from BYU as well.
Very good.
Yeah, and the good thing about if you are IT, we do have a Vietnamese office as well that are purely programming. So we can probably offer internships to that area I know that if you, for a special amount of time, we'll have to just organise visas, but it's something if someone's really keen in the programming side, we can put them into that office. This office is more about networking and so we're actually got a new office that we're going to be opening in March, April. And so if someone would be interested in coming to learn how to actually cable and do all the networking, organising, how to do all the routing systems, telephone systems, that's also an opportunity. If they wanted to come over and do some of that, they can work on with our team and actually fit out a new office.
That's right. And I wanted to add,
again?
What's that?
You guys are expanding again? Because the last time I was there, I think you added 200 new.
We have got another floor. I think it's 100 seats that we're going to go into there, but it's in a new building. So we actually have to do all of the cabling and wiring and setting up of new computers. So it's something if someone's interested in that side of the business that you can get some really good experience in setting up as I say, a brand new office.
And I also wanted to share this, Joe. When I was attending BYU-Hawaii, they did not have human resource as a field of study yet, as a specific field of study. So the closest that I have is human development. But because I was having my education alongside working with human resources at Polynesian Cultural Center, it gave me a good footing as to my practice. I was able to attend and mingle with people who are doing that practice. Right off after college, when I came home, the first job that I got was in an accounting firm as an HR assistant. What did I do? I just filed folders. I had to talk to applicants. But because of those exposure, I was able to get the experience that I need to elevate among the ranks and actually have a good career here in the Philippines.
We actually recruited Kay from her sacrament talk at church. Just FYI.
Oh, very good.
We happened to walk past her ward when she was giving a talk, and Patrick actually said she'd make an amazing HR manager because we were looking for an HR. We didn't even know if you had the skills, but I think it was just her confidence and her way of seemed like presenting that we actually were attracted to, and so we actually sat her down and she actually filled a need for us. So it's not always about your degree.
Yeah.
I've got a PE degree, and yet it's really about how you then bounce off that degree into whatever field you want to go. Patrick graduated accounting and computer science. So when he went back to Australia, same as what Kay I think was mentioning earlier, he had to take more classes to be qualified accountant. So he pursued the IT side, but now we run our own company, that accounting has come into play because now we've got to do budgets and everything else. So, and PE, I actually am more using that as for training because of the education side.
That's right.
I use that now for training purposes and also people skills. So just so if you have degrees doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pigeonhole yourself.
That's right. And our undergraduate degrees just helps us to think critically. You know, it places us in a situation wherein we can actually have skills to think and evaluate situations. We don't have to just focus because I'm IT, I'll just do IT work. I'm education, I'm just gonna do, I'll just be a teacher someday. So don't limit yourself in opportunities. Just go home. There are opportunities here. You will get the job that you need. Not start as a manager right away, but eventually, as you have the experience, you will land a good employment here in the Philippines.
Awesome. Thank you both for mentioning the, I love that you were giving a talk at church and they heard that. Some of the things that, I'm in the bishopric at the moment. One of the things that I'm always trying to express to the students is that as you execute that calling that you have to the best of your abilities, you gain skills that are transferable into your job. So you might be a Relief Society president or something like that. And then your organizational skills, your time management skills, your communication skills, all of these things are very applicable to employable skills that we're trying to help them build here at school. And then when they come home and they work for companies like yours, they have those abilities, they have that confidence, they have that talent that they've maybe developed while they're here at school, and they can use it and share it with companies like yours. So thank you for saying that. That supports a lot of what I've been trying to say here. And
we actually look at resumes where anyone has done anything outside of the industry.
That's right.
With regard to like anything to do with teaching or management at all, especially if you want to go into a management role, because that's what we look for. Because one of the things that is quite lacking here in the Philippines is that next level to be able to organize groups. So anytime you can use your skills at church, because that's what we do, right? We teach, we organize, we plan. Those will always come in as valuable tools when you're looking for staff.
And
so,
that's really true. If any one of you is interested in applying with EZY Service Center, we just do not look at your resume. Where did you graduate? What kind of field of study did you do? We check the extracurricular activities that you've been exposed to, because that gives you leadership skills, that gives you life skills, that gives you decision-making skills. So that is very important for EZY Service Center.
Excellent. Thank you. That's very good information. You guys have questions?
I do.
You want to introduce?
Go ahead.
Yourself?
Yeah.
And then.
I am very sorry I was late.
Okay.
But yeah. My name is Carmela.
It's okay.
I major in accounting. Can you hear me? Do I need to
Yes.
closer? Okay. I'm just curious. It's about internship, because Paula and I am really looking for an internship opportunity. So I remember you were here last year, and I remember you said that you have different branches in the Philippines, right?
Yep.
If your internship program is only available on your main branch, which is in Manila, or if I can remember.
Oh, okay. So yeah, most of our offices are within Manila. Are
That's
you
right.
looking at maybe provincial areas? Is that what you're looking for?
I'm thinking about it because I love provincial, but if it's not available in the province, then it's fine. I'm just curious if the internship program is also available in the province area.
Too big, but that's
yeah. We got a Subic office that we've just opened as well, down by Clark, that area. However, look, I'm open. I think because we own the company, we can sort of do things any which way we like. There might even be opportunities if you wanted just to be part of a project that I could organise you to do it remotely. From here to Hawaii. There's always opportunities that from that point of view. We do have quite a large accounting department in both companies, just FYI. I should have probably brought Rosemary in, and she could have probably given you a rundown on that. But as I said, we have lots of smaller projects, lots of larger projects. If you wanted to be included in one of the projects remotely, that's something that we could explore.
And if I may just add, Ms. Jo, one reason that BYU is trying to have your internships back home, because when you have your internships, it's not just an exposure to the company, it's also an exposure to the lifestyle that you have to adjust as you graduate from BYU. Say, for example, finding a home near where your office location is, trying to commute and make sure that your attendance is good. Those things are part of your internship exposure. It just doesn't limit you to the 8 to 5 work. It's the whole package. So if you're gonna ask me, Joe here is very generous to offer, that kind of setup. But as a graduate and as a Filipino, my take is try to go home, try to get your internship in the metro for good exposure. Then once you specialize in your field, then you can go home to the province and actually practice it.
I'd probably say one thing. When Patrick graduated, he graduated head of accounting as well as IT. But when we went home, because he didn't have any work experience at all, it was purely just working. And even though he was the accounting tutor at BYU, it didn't really account for much. So it took him a little while to get a job. Because they were looking for people a little bit younger than he was, that had also been working in the field at the same time as studying, which is what a lot of countries do. You work in your field and you study at the same time. So I really highly recommend these internships, because at least it will give you some exposure for experience. So when you go looking out there, I'll be honest with you, we sort of, even though we look at the character of a person, it still helps if they've done something. We hired a fresh graduate because he had been doing projects on the side. Okay, that was what made the difference between hiring him and hiring the other 200 people that applied for the position.
Okay.
Was because he had done something on his own to advance his, growth without having to wait till he was employed to do that. So it's a huge thing on resumes to see people who have gone on internships or have done things with extra for their work and their degree.
Awesome. I had another question. It has to do with your Vietnam office, I guess. Because I know that we don't have a ton of Vietnamese students with us. So in that,
they all speak English. They speak English in that office. They speak English in that office.
Yeah.
So Filipinos don't need visas for Vietnam for 30 days, okay? And you can extend your visa for another 30 days. So even if it was just for a short term, you could come to our office for the internship and we could send you to Vietnam for a month to work within that team for development. As I say, we've got a new client that's just opened up over there with us, and they're doing all the latest and greatest on finware and everything else. So if anyone's at all interested in with developments, I didn't meet a lot of IT developers over there, but it is a field that if someone is interested in, that we do have access to.
I think Filipinos are just very inclined that when they go to BYU, they take accounting, Joe.
I don't know. Is that
true, girls?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of accounting.
There are a lot of IT students right now, though, too, that are Filipino. If you went to our CSR group, a lot of them in that office, even the manager is Filipino. And so within the office, I swear they have about 6 or 7 Filipinos that work inside that office. And so I think IT is coming up as well. One of the reasons why I asked about Vietnam too was that I do have other students from different countries that are interested in working in Vietnam. I have a student in the office right now. She's from Korea, very interested in going to Vietnam to work. And so I mentioned to her, oh, when these guys come, you need to go and meet with them. So that was one of the reasons why I was asking too.
Yeah, it's actually quite a growing industry, that industry. It's very, lot of money.
That's right.
But it's also an industry that even if it's in Asia, you can probably get top dollar. Like we have to, especially in the Philippines, we pay a little bit more for IT just due to the fact that you've got the ability to travel to Singapore or to other countries with IT. And within Asia in general, you can spread around a bit. So a lot of the good, and they all speak good English. So that's something that you just need to be very careful with. English is important. So fine-tune your English while you're living in the States, as well as your comprehension. That's probably bigger than anything. And as I mentioned earlier, before we started, we all give comprehension tests over here. And most of the companies that are not just call centers, but are actually proper offices offering jobs, comprehension is key, as well as written English.
That's right.
You've got to sort of learn to write
academically.
Yes.
You have to focus on English 315 and business writing over there.
Yeah. It's really important because normally when you write an email, we can tell what country you're from by the way you phrase your sentences, okay? So that's something that we pick up quite quickly. So that's a really important thing to make sure you practice over there. Write as many emails to each other as you can and try and pick up any of those little, what do they call it? Nuances that are specific to a region.
And if I may add also, Joe, try to get a mentor from from BYU to the Philippines, because it's going to help you not only network for the field of study that you're doing, but also give you a more realistic picture of how it is after graduation. So find a mentor, identify a mentor, and work with that mentor. The mentor will tell you, okay, these are the things that you can do better. These are the things that you can improve on. These are the skills that you need and the classes that you need to take as well.
But you need also have a LinkedIn profile, because here in the Philippines, just FYI, everyone headhunts on LinkedIn. So a lot of our big people that they try and pinch our big staff all do it through LinkedIn. They look at their profiles.
We're actually trying to get them to attend the conference as well.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to have them here. But I like what you're saying also. I believe we talked about this last year for a little bit too, about the importance of learning the English words within the majors that you're doing. So if you're an accountant, learn all the words in English in accounting, so that when you come back home, learn it in English and Filipino, so that you're able to translate both languages. But not only understand what they mean, also the proper comprehension and usage of those terms within a sentence.
And it's going to be really important. We asked for resumes last year and we hardly had anyone give us a resume. Okay, so it's going to be a big push with Kay coming with us. Okay, she's going to be coming with that. If people have got to have their resumes ready, and she might even give you some pointers on what to put in your resume and what not to put in your resume, or how that because she filters we go through hundreds of resumes, and so it would be interesting if she would actually pick up your resume and put it on this pile or that pile.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the interview file or to the throwaway file.
So maybe
I think they would be a good mentor to these guys, knowing exactly how it is to come back from BYU-Hawaii.
More than welcome.
Also, I'd like maybe just to put a plug in here. At the school, we're using, we've just started using a tool called People Grove. Here on campus, it's going to be called the Ohana Network. But we're trying to help connect all of our alumni through this, so that they can keep in touch with one another. So for example, if Kay was on the People Grove Network or the Ohana Network, and she put something in there that she was an HR manager, if we had a student that went into that group and searched for a HR person, Kay would pop up. They could click a button that says, please help connect me. And it doesn't give out any personal information. It allows you to accept and maybe start talking to these people one-on-one. So it's kind of a coaching, mentoring. Yeah, it's actually really good. All of the church schools are going to be on this now. BYU Provo, BYU Idaho, BYU Hawaii, and LDS Business College, as well as Pathway. So it's a tool that we'll be using.
That's a good part. Yeah.
So because we also have students that might be listening in that are attending school at BYU Provo and BYU Idaho and probably LDS BC. So because we have a really good connection internationally through BYU Hawaii, we're really trying to help grow not only our school, but those students that are in these other schools, our sister schools in the mainland.
That's good.
I think some of the other teams that are coming from the Philippines, I think we're a good diverse group that you've put together, Kenny. We've got a little bit of everything coming. So I think that's a good opportunity. But I think everyone just needs to be aware, we can get you in the door, but at the end of the day, with a relationship from being an alumni or being a member, but at the end of the day, your performance is going to be what keeps you in the company. And so I often tell people who come to the company, you don't get to see me all the time because I'm not down there running around all the time, but it's your performance with your managers that will keep you in the position.
That's right.
Not your relationship.
That's right.
Your relationship gets you in the door, but your performance keeps you in the door, not the relationship.
Very good. One more thing as you're talking reminded me, try to help our students get more up to speed with their employable skills. We've also partnered with the Polynesian Cultural Center. They just hired a new manager over there over the Student Development Service is what it's called, SDS manager. And his goal is basically to help each of those students that are at the center to hit certain milestones throughout their tenure at the center. So they want to start tracking and being able to keep track of what they're doing. Every time they meet with their managers, they want to make sure that they're showing up on time, that they're learning certain things throughout their time at PCC to help them use that as a springboard to come home and do work back in their country. So
I think maybe what we could do also is those that are interested when we're there, I'm happy to set up meetings with my head people. Like I've just asked Kay to bring in my head of finance, Rose, and it might be something that you girls doing accounts want to know. What are the current programs that are needed to be learnt over here? What are they currently using? Come in, Rose. So that's also, I think, a bit of mentorship. This is Rosemary. She heads our financial department up.
Hi.
These two girls are doing accounting at BYU-Hawaii. Okay. So if you could just maybe just very briefly, what are some of the different programs? Do you want to introduce yourselves, girls, and then to Rosemary and maybe what you're actually studying, and she can give you maybe a little bit of an idea from an accounting point of view. What are some of the key factors you're looking at or programs that we're running?
Okay.
So just introduce yourself to Rosemary.
My name is Paula Putong. I'm from Naga, Philippines. I'm a senior, so I graduate this year. I'm studying accounting, and I'm also going to take a certification. It's an SAP. Yeah.
you guys are from
SAP. Yeah. So I'm going to get a certification this summer. I'm looking for an internship this summer. So, after.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Carmela Hussein. I am from Bicol. Yeah, one of from Kaula place, and I also major in accounting. I'm a junior, and I'm also gonna take the certification for SAP Terpan, and I'm also looking for an internship this summer.
So what are some of the things we do here? Just in what programs would you want to see?
Actually, it's the whole accounting itself, including the general accounting, accounts receivables, accounts payables, and management of accounts. We do prepare the financials as well for the executive management. So technically, all the taxes, both the local companies here, making sure that they are submitted, filed on time. You know how the Internal Revenue Department works here, right, in the Philippines. So they are.
Do you know how the Internal Revenue works here in the Philippines?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so that would be really relevant to know.
Yes, of course.
Half of your skills, half is dealing with BIR.
Yes, that's right. Apart from that, we also have this other government regulatory bodies where we have to do reporting, such as PEZA, SEC, Bureau of Investments, and all those other government bodies that we have to report. Other things are we also do payroll.
That's right.
Here.
So Maya, what do we use?
We have different accounting systems. Here we use QuickBooks.
Oh, they're exposed to that.
Yeah, and we do use a separate payroll system. Other clients we use MyOB. So yeah.
Okay. Any questions you have of Rosemary?
What can you do, Rose, while they're here at school to maybe get up to speed with some of the accounting, the accounting certifications or any kind of accounting standards there in the Philippines? Is there anything they can do while they're here?
Are you are they all CPAs?
No, not yet.
Well, CPAs, you have to do like a big review prior taking the examination for you to become licensed. Apart from that, you can also take like there are certifications such as
CFA,
bookkeeping for bookkeeping. CFA, that's a higher one for auditors. Certified Management Accounting, that's the certification that I have.
Certified Internal Auditors.
So
Certified
what
Internal Auditors.
we probably could do is, and that's what I'm saying, if we get enough people that are interested, that you could set up a little chat. And I'm sure that maybe Rose could tell you like what you can do from afar, and what you have to do once you arrive back here. Because obviously, if you come back here with degrees from America, what type of certifications that you need to then do once you arrive on deck?
And it will also depend on what path are you taking.
That's
because
right.
If you wanted to be like an auditor, you have to take the certification for the auditors.
Right.
And then if you want to be the bookkeeper, you may want to take the licensure exam.
I think it's also helpful to share this. When I was working with KPMG before, our accountants or the students coming from BYU cannot practice as accountants. You know, they cannot sign the FS. They cannot.
Yeah.
However, there is a department that's called the advisory services, restructuring, all of those, that BYU students are actually assigned to that group. What they do is to critically think on how to help processes improve, streamline processes for them. So it's not because you're not a CPA, you cannot work on that field. Learn Excel, strong Excel skills. That's very important.
Yep.
And then be able to do well when it comes to communication and practice what you learn in school.
Yeah. And of course, professionalism.
That's right.
Thanks, Rose. So I just want to give you a bit of we've got some really quite key people. How long have you been with us now, Rose?
7 years.
So she's been with us for 7 years. And obviously she's gone from, I think you started just doing bookkeeping with us, didn't you? And then moved in. She also does commissions, which is paying all the commissions for a bank. So calculating all of the upfronts and the trails
the brokers,
and everything else. So there's a lot of things you can branch into. You just need to figure out what area that excites you with numbers.
So, So Joanne, there's what I'm hearing with Rose. If she's been there for 7 years, and she was bookkeeping first, you guys have programs as well for professional development and opportunities for them to continue to.
Yes.
Rose can talk about that.
Yeah. Of course, you will start at the very data entry, the bookkeeping side of things, for you to understand how to prepare the reporting, because it will all root out from there. So you would have to know where the transaction is coming from, what are the requirements, and then so you can explain to the management if you prepare the financials, what are the variances, what are the reasons why there are ups and downs on the figures, the monthly variances, the yearly variances.
But I think we also encourage, we've actually sponsored, like we said earlier, for them to get further education within the company.
You can have external trainings. We will be able to determine what trainings you will need for you to keep up with your work. Relevant trainings for you guys.
Because here we're a PASER company. I don't know. Do you know what PASER is?
I don't.
Okay. PASER means it's a special program that they have in the Philippines from a company point of view, but it also means lots of regulations.
Yeah.
So one thing that Rosemary did was we sent her off for PASER updating and certification in that field, so that she could then be that for our company. So rather than going to consulting companies, we now try and get them trained within house, and then they become part of our staff.
Something unique about EZY as well is the performance management side of of the company. When you do your annual reviews, the form actually asks you what are the trainings that you need to be able to elevate your skills. So having said that, the management is very much invested in your personal development as a professional. You get to have the trainings that you need and perform better at your work.
Very good information. Thank you. I just had one last thought. So the last time when I was there, if you guys have increased, man, it sounds like you guys have exploded in the last 2 years. I was just wondering how many
we don't grow fast. We just grow
steady.
Steady is what we call it.
How many? So in that building now, how many people do you have working in there?
In this one office here, we have 114, I think. But we have an office upstairs, an office down the road, an office down the corridor, and now
another,
we're opening the new one with the new seats of 100.
Wow.
So it's growing steadily, and Vietnam's growing as well because we've got a couple of clients that have gone over there. So our belief is to grow small but steadily, especially because we want to be in the game a long time, not a short time. And there's a lot of risk when you grow really quickly here. So our goal is just to squish in as many people as we can until we explode, and then we open another office with the overflow. So it's worked for us, but the Philippines has been a great opportunity for us. It's not just about coming to work. There's so much that the Philippines is really has to offer the world. That's right. And I think people don't quite see that. One of our big things we try to encourage, we call ourselves a little bit, and especially in Alliance to University, because it's about learning as much as you can, but then to take that knowledge and then do your own thing. And I think Rosemary probably is a testament to that. She came in, one of her goals was to buy a house. She bought a house. You know, so the idea is to stick with some goals and then see if not with us, then we encourage you, if you can get something bigger and better, you go for it. But as long as we're still fulfilling that need, then you can stay with us. But it's not about short-term stuff here. It's about long-term goals, where you are going to be in 5 years. We've got a goal in our company. What's our goal? It's 3 and 5. We want to settle $5 billion worth of loans for one client, okay? That client has offered the company $1 million, not USD, AUD, if that company meets that goal. So our goal is to try and get clients to incentivize the staff so they feel like they're part of a team, and if they do well, then they get rewarded for that as well. It's not just the client.
Awesome. Very good. So those partnerships are really important.
And that's our uniqueness, I suppose, in the marketplace. We look at clients as business partners, not just as people who we're servicing.
Well, awesome. Thank you. Do you guys have any more questions for us? I think you guys are all very familiar with BYU, well, with the exception of Rose probably, but very familiar with.
And we'll see one year if Rose needs to go over and talk to your accounting people. She's been good. But having said that, Kay will be there. As we said, we will probably be giving part of what we'd like to do is set up like a comprehension test. So if anyone would like to come to our booth and see whether they could pass one of the assessments, okay, it might be worthwhile to see how you would go. Kay would also like you to bring your resumes in, and she can then look at your resume and see whether or not it's something that she would, you know, ditch or not ditch. That's right. As and maybe some matches for the departments. And then, as I said, we're happy to look at internships, but we want you as a group or a team to tell us what you want out of the internship, and then we can tell you what we can provide. Okay, it's not always about us doing the work. It's about time you guys put some effort into it, because really, if you're not excited about doing it and you just wanting to come to fill in space, we don't really need you. We want people who are excited or enthusiastic to do it and can contribute to what we're building over here. So it's really about, like, I like people who are proactive, and not just, oh, okay, it's on, so let's go and look, okay? That's what we're looking for at our booth that we're going to have there.
Very good. Well, we hope to find many of those students to get in front of you at the conference, and we're very.
We love Hawaii, and anything to do with BYU-Hawaii. Half the people that are your administration were our older colleagues at school, so it's quite always fun to go back. But I think, you know, the idea that BYU is a small university doesn't mean that we can only do small things. That's right. BYU-Hawaii has jump-started so many different opportunities for me, for most of my friends, and have done extremely well. So we like to see the growth that's going on in the school and maybe contribute, give a little bit back to what we totally enjoyed while we were there. We danced on the PCC canoes, you know, and we bumped the tables. We did the night show. We did all of those. So the good thing about it is they all contributed to a little bit of my life and my journey, and I've used the night show huckers. The last time we had a big client come over from Hong Kong, Pat did mini, and they went away, the Hong Kongese, and I don't know if you know many people from Hong Kong, they're very serious, but at the airport they were wanting to do one more little haka and a little bit of a mini pakiao at the airport. So don't underestimate
The skills that you learn
the
from there.
skills
Yeah.
that you learn from everywhere at BYU, okay?
I just want to add, when I invited or I asked you guys about coming, you might have been the quickest response that I received from anybody. I think Patrick just said, "Yep, don't have to do much to get us there." Boom, and it was done. So I
We actually
appreciate.
were just there in September. We had the whole family there, so it's not just about the quick responses. I think we just really like to give back.
Yeah.
So when Kay put her hand up and said she wants to give back as well, and tell people that there's
A lot of
opportunities back here in the Philippines. You know, sometimes you have this
Fear.
that you come back here and you're going to get lost, and there is so much opportunity here. Okay,
And coming from a
and growth.
Yeah.
I'm here. That's why I didn't set up office in New Zealand and Australia. I set up office in the Philippines. So it's a lot harder for me to do business here because I'm a foreigner. If you guys were really thinking about it, start networking now before you get here. Okay, it's not about, okay, now I'm going to get home and start networking. You've got to start your networking. I would be starting now, even with people there that you can maybe do business, take business back to the Philippines. I come to the US to do networking. You're already there. So
use that to their advantage.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to you both as well, if I may
We
just
can
add.
go if you want to.
Huwag kayong matakot umuwi. Do not be afraid to go home. You have to frame your mindset that you went to BYU-Hawaii to study, to earn your education. That's all of it. That is not your place there. Your place is here in the Philippines. You have to give back, return home, and expand what you know and contribute. You know, we were given this opportunity for a reason. It's not for us to be elsewhere. It is for us to come home in the Philippines and use those skills to bless others. Okay?
Thank you, Kay. That's awesome. Thank you both. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you. I'm really excited to see you. I think there's a lot that I know there's a lot that you are doing and can do for the students that are here. And I think having an opportunity to talk story with you while you're on campus for the conference will be amazing for them as well.
Happy New Year.
Chinese New
We
Year.
say it in Vietnamese, chip moi nam moi. So any Vietnamese watching, but it is actually Happy New Year today.
Yeah.
So that's why we're wearing red.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
We're color coordinated.
Someone else over there is doing that. So did you know it was Happy Chinese New Year today?
Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year.
Yeah, my wife is part Chinese. We did a little thing the other day at my daughter's school for Chinese New Year's. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, so we got the red envelopes in the office today. So we'll say goodbye and we'll see you on the
March
5th or 6th.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
we're there.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
There you go. Bye.
Bye.